And welcome to another Mark Bishop Show. Well, AI, it's everywhere, isn't it? Everybody's talking about it. You see it in writing. You see it in press releases, on television, news. Well, you know, folks, AI investments will more than double over the next 2 years. Oh, yeah, says who? The IBM Institute for Business Value Study, that's who. They say that despite challenges, CEOs double down on AI. And to give us the inside run, here's Salima Lin, Managing Partner, Strategy, M&A, Transformation and Thought Leadership, IBM Consulting. Welcome, Salima.
Thank you for having me.
So, Salima, CEO respondents to your study, they say that they expect the growth rate of AI investments will more than double over the next 2 years. What are the top priorities for CEOs this year?
Sure. So we have actually been doing this study, Mark, for 22 years. So we have a lot of longitudinal data to pull from, more than 30,000 CEO interviews. This year, we spoke with 2,000 CEOs, and we're seeing a clear shift in CEO priorities driven by all the change that we're seeing around us with AI, with the economy, with the geopolitical issues. And the three main priorities that have emerged for 2025, the first one was forecast accuracy, which is at the top of the list. And what's interesting here is that it was number 4 spot last year, and it was at the bottom of the list in 2023. The second priority is productivity and profitability. It's a continued focus for leaders, as we would expect. And then the third is product and service innovation, which of course reflects a need to stay competitive.
Well, looking at the study, some of the findings show that 61% of surveyed CEOs, they say their organization is actively adopting AI agents today and preparing to implement them at scale. So I guess CEOs expect the growth rate of AI investments to more than double in the next 2 years. What are some of the findings, if you would, Salima, if you'd share with us?
Sure. So in our study, there are 5 mind shifts that we focus on to supercharge business growth. The first is make courage your core. And this is all about the fact that CEOs want risk-taking to be less risky. And so need to really focus on, courage, being able to take risks. Of course, that doesn't mean being reckless, but it does mean taking risks and making bets on innovation to fuel their enterprise. So make courage your core is one of the 5 mind shifts. The second is embracing AI-fueled creative destruction, and that's quite the mouthful. But essentially what it means is that 68% of CEOs say that AI is changing core aspects of their business. And so it's not about just doing the same things better, but it's about taking a step back and seeing what's working, what doesn't work, tear down what doesn't work, optimize what does, make room for new growth. The third is cultivating a vibrant data environment. The more integrated your data is, the better value you can get from AI. The issue is that half of the CEOs believe that they have disconnected data, given the rapid pace of recent investments. The fourth is ignore FOMO and lean into ROI. And if you're like me, you're like, what is FOMO? I didn't know what it was at first. It's fear of missing out. And we're seeing CEOs drive, hundreds of proof of concepts to figure out what the value of AI is. But the reality is that many of these proofs of concepts might show potential, but they don't necessarily translate into value. And the need to lean into ROI is going to drive the success and adoption in the future. And then finally, borrow the talent you can't buy. We need strong talent. AI is more about people than it is about the technology, according to our CEOs. And we agree with that. And so having the right talent, whether it's within your 4 walls or with your partners that you work with, is critical for success. Those are the 5 mind shifts.
Yeah, big mind shifts. But only 25% of AI initiatives have delivered expected ROI over the last few years, and only 16% have scaled enterprise-wide. The statement of, yes, it's not technology taking over, it's a matter of humans working with for the best output. So, half of the respondents apparently say the pace of recent investments has left their organization with disconnected piecemeal. Now, you touched on that. So they've got to try and find ways to bring everything together so that it's a lot easier for staff to be able to utilize as well. Is that also the purpose?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I think about it, think about a forest and the root system, right? It's really interconnected. That's what we want with our data, because the more comprehensive and the more integrated, the better it is. And so what organizations really need to do is just go back to mastering the basics, right? Map your data, find the gaps, close the weaknesses, then apply the AI, and you'll get more value from it.
Yeah, well, that makes sense, doesn't it? And let me look at a couple of others. 68% of surveyed CEOs say integrated enterprise-wide data architecture is critical to enable cross-functional collaboration and drive innovation. And then there's 72% of CEOs out of these thousands that were interviewed say leveraging their organization's proprietary data is key to unlocking the value of generative AI. So, 64% of respondents say the risk of falling behind drives them to invest in some technologies before they have some clear understanding of the value. Yeah, got to keep up with the Joneses. I haven't got a clue how it works, but let's get it anyway.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's interesting. Thousands, I don't know if I mentioned it already or not, but, we're seeing hundreds of proof of concepts, right, being done on AI, and it doesn't mean you're going to get the value of it, right? I think what's key is figuring out what parts of your business will benefit the most out of it, and then being very hyper-focused there. To give you an example, at IBM, we've done it, right? So we were challenged by our CEO to be the most productive company in the world, and so this prompted a transformation using AI and automation technologies, and we have simplified experiences. We have simplified workflows across HR, IT support, and sales, which not only resulted in $3.5 billion in productivity gains, which is critical, but for the likes of you and me, the average person working, I mean, because we removed all of this complexity, we're free to focus on what really matters, and less time on repetitive tasks, more time on innovation, and more time with clients.
Yeah, that's great, and you are dead right. So much so, but I'm just a one-man show too, one-man army, as they say, and there's millions of us. And the bottom line is we're trying to learn the darn AI, which is slowing us down in the first place. But once we get it right to do what we need to do, then it's going to help big time. So, Salima, how can businesses apply AI to navigate the change and uncertainty around them that they're experiencing now? What do they need to do? Just call you, the gurus at IBM?
Well, they can. They absolutely can. We have a very strong consulting organization, and we do help our clients with innovation, with driving strategic flexibility, efficiency, and AI is core to all of that. But regardless of how they decide to move forward, we know, at least in our study, 68% of CEOs say that AI changes core aspects of their organization. And we have this mind shift that I mentioned to you, embracing AI-fueled destruction. And what that means really is take a step back. Look at what you have. Success won't come from doing the same things better. So optimize what works, clear out what doesn't, make room for new growth. And that's what we would tell everyone to think through and figure out, where you think you'll get the biggest bang for your buck. You don't want to peanut butter it across the board.
Makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. And you know what? If you're in business and you're listening to this, driving the car, whatever, why don't you take a trip to IBM.com/IBV. IBM.com/IBV. Have a good read. Have a good look around. There's amazing stuff in there. Get over the barriers that CEOs face, when it comes to fully realizing the potential of AI and what they can do and you can do to overcome the challenges. I mean, you're dealing with the biggest. They've been around since donkey years. IBM, you know what that stands for, Salima?
I do. International Business Machine.
International Business Movers. You do a lot of consultants. So there you go. Gee, your title's a long one, isn't it? You're a managing partner of strategy, M&A. What's the M&A?
Mergers and acquisitions. So
mergers
acquiring,
and acquisition, right, of course. I should have known, dummy. Transformation, thought leadership, IBM Consulting. So you must talk to a lot of CEOs over a period of time.
I do, and so do my colleagues. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, you're doing a great job. Thanks for taking time out this morning. I appreciate that. It's interesting where it's going.
Thank you so much.
And you keep us ahead of the game. So good on you, Salima. Keep up the good work, okay?
Thank you so much.